Paper Mario as a series is making a comeback, mostly thanks to the release of the Thousand Year Door on Switch. After a series of polarizing, to say the least, releases, this might finally be the remake to convince Nintendo to go back to the series' roots. But there was one game in the Paper Mario series that I feel tends to get forgotten amongst the highs of Thousand Year Door and the lows of Color Splash and Sticker Star, and that's Super Paper Mario on the Wii. Super Paper Mario sees the game get invaded by a new villain, Count Bleck, and his assistant Nastasia. He aims to restart the world by using the Void to erase the current one. Our heroes must collect the Pure Hearts to stop him by journeying into different worlds through doors in a new place called Flipside. I honestly really enjoyed this setup. I was happy to see that it wasn't the generic Bowser kidnap Peach storyline that 80% of the other Mario games have, and that the adventure took place outside of the Mushroom Kingdom no less. I do understand that this is common for the Paper Mario games, but honestly I'm fairly new to this series, and it was just kind of nice and refreshing. It was also nice to simply see a different villain, which I know is another staple of the Paper Mario games, but honestly, as somebody who's used to spending time playing the platformers, it was nice to have a different villain. The biggest thing, though, that I really enjoyed about the setup was how they integrated the worlds and level structures from the mainline games while still giving them their own identity and still making each world's levels feel connected. The new theming also helped with this, as we do get a number of worlds that go beyond the grass, desert, ice level themes we are used to. Here we go to space, a Weeaboo Nerd's castle, and a number of other interesting setups. I just think it's really fun, and the general storyline feels a lot deeper in this game than the general Mario stories tend to go. Speaking of really fun, the gameplay is something I didn't expect to connect with me as much as it did. I've seen a number of videos online showing the gameplay of this game, but it felt completely different actually playing it for myself. The main gimmick in this game is Mario's new ability to switch between a 2D side-scroller and a 3D corridor platformer at whim. This ability is super satisfying to use, and the different clever ways they make you use it can be really fun. I also appreciate that the action was mapped on the controller in a way that you didn't have to change orientation of the remote to use it. After Tippy's power was introduced to reveal hidden things by pointing at the screen, I was worried that I may have to do that with the switching mechanic too. But thankfully, it let you stay in the horizontal orientation, which was good because you will be using that 2D 3D switch a lot in this game. One big thing about the game, though, that I didn't remember anyone ever talking about is the fact that past a certain part of the game, you get a character selection that not only lets you play as Peach, but also Bowser, and towards the end, Luigi, with each having their own strengths and abilities. I really liked switching between them for different needs throughout the game. All of the gameplay I had seen of this game only ever focused on Mario, and I didn't know there were other playable characters until I played the game myself. It was a nice surprise and gave me some good variety of the gameplay. The other element to add great variety is the pixels. I didn't fully get them at first, as the first few you get don't do all that much in the early stages. However, when you get into the later worlds, you'll find yourself switching between all of them for puzzle solving and combat purposes. I think my personal favorite was Carry or Fleep, mostly because they were the ones that changed how you platform the most out of all of them, and created the most variety. All of this praise, however, ends with the combat for me. I've played a number of the other Mario RPGs and even some of the other Paper Mario games. This is for sure the weakest in combat, having almost no thought to it other than jump on its head and pick up and throw. This wouldn't be so bad if it was just the smaller in-between enemies, but all of the bosses are dealt with this way too, and honestly, I just thought it was really boring. You have all these pixels, and almost none of them change the combat in any way. I just wish there was some kind of battle system like the other games, that played with the flipping mechanic more. I think it would have added a lot more depth to the moment-to-moment gameplay. Beyond the more broad stuff, there were a few things I really liked that I wanted to mention that didn't really fit with anything else I've talked so far. The first major one was the Growth Star. I had a smile from ear to ear the first time I picked it up and saw the cutscene of transforming into the massive 8-bit Mario from the original NES game. Which then got even better when I unlocked more characters and realized that they too turn into their 8-bit versions. The other major thing I really appreciated was the return pipe. Being able to go back to the center of the hub world at any time and then being able to start right back at my last save block was super helpful if I ever ran out of supplies or needed to accomplish something else. It also helped massively when you were on the other side of the hub world finding a heart pillar and didn't want to make the sometimes ridiculous walk back to the center to continue the story. It proved super useful and ended up being one of my favorite quality of life features I've seen in a while. Overall, I really enjoyed my time with this Paper Mario Forgotten Gem. It makes me even more excited to finally get into the Thousand Year Door remake soon and leave the game everyone considers to be the best in the franchise. What Nintendo property do you want me to cover next? What's your favorite Paper Mario game? Let me know in the comments below and don't forget to subscribe to be there for it. Thanks for watching!